Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but the people who are leading their groups, they're not supposed to lead them. And I am supposed to lead them because I'm the top martial artist ever possible. I'm the Son of God, and I should be leading them. I've proven that definitively. They don't have a counter argument. And as we look at their motives, right, the Lord weighs the motives, the hearts. We see that their heart isn't in the right place. They're trying to conform. They're trying to play the game. They're going off in a tangent. They're wittingly and otherwise cheating me out of my right to lead, and so on and so forth. So let me make two examples here, and we'll wrap this up here. Number one, picture the best martial arts students in all of human history, all together, alive in their prime, at the same time. And I'm their teacher. So they're moving masterfully to a large degree, and I'm just showing them a little something here and there. I'm correcting them a little bit here and there. I'm helping them see something they don't see because I have the greatest martial vision. And I'm the best at sparring, hand-to-hand combat, martial arts, the essence of it. I have the most character. I'm helping them come into the Spirit of God and to move masterfully. Now that has everything to do with the moral committee that I would form from every race. So if you're Hispanic, you're white, you're this, you're that, you're from this tribe, that group, I'd have this moral committee as big as it needs to be. And they would be chosen because they're the best of their group. And they would masterfully lead their group to a much greater existence. There's no other way to look at it. It is impossible to not know that I'm right if you hear this video. I'm the type of person, in the form that I'm making it right now, mind you, if they don't edit my voice, I'm the type of person, you can hear it in me. You know that I'm telling the truth. You know by what I'm saying, how I'm saying it. The fact that I have thousands and thousands of videos in the last 16 years, over 16,000 videos, tons of videos. I've dedicated my life to this. I've taught martial arts challenge. It is impossible to see my playlist about how, my Proof of Christ playlist, and to not know that I'm the Son of God on some level, and most people know it just immediately. So who's supposed to lead you? Somebody who's a racial supremacist? Well, see Galatians 3:28. If there's no Jew or Gentile, you're all one in Christ Jesus. Are you supposed to break down according to race and be led by your race? No, that's a sign of failure. Who's leading the cult of the flesh? The devil. The devil is the one who has taught you to do that. As you look at all these cultures, jocks, emos, gangsters, corrupt corporations, these police officers blindly following orders. They don't know what to do with their lives, right? The whole world doesn't know what to do. They're lost without me. They're all confused, right? Set is the deity of confusion. The devil, the deity of deceit, and confusion comes with deceit. And there's no Jew or Gentile. You're all one in Christ Jesus. Now, what we can get from that, right, because it also says there's no slave or free, no male or female. What it's getting at is that you're not supposed to judge each other, but it also has implications on marriage. And some of you say, well, that's not what it's saying. To each his own. No. Numbers 10 shows us clearly that God commands people to stop being racist and to judge people by the content of their character and to move masterfully. First, remove the log from their own eye before they decide who to date. Before they get mad at me trying to date someone from their race or religion. First, remove the log from your own eye. And you'll see clearly and see that I'm right. Moses took a Cushite wife of all the groups in the Bible. There's Amorites, there's Jebusites, there's Hittites, Hivites, Philistines, on and on and on. Greeks, of all the groups in the Bible. Moses took a Cushite wife, and it overkills the argument because the people who wrote the Bible knew there's a bunch of people who discriminate on a handsome and righteous and divine black person. And they changed my voice and try to play me out. They knew that these types of people exist, and if they had technologies to go further with it, they would, and that's what we're seeing here. That's why we get the word primate, right? Primate, right? Separation. And the word rape is scrambled in the word separate. And so it connects to rape by deception. The devil is the great deceiver. You should see what I'm saying. We see the eugenics, this calculated effort to control reproduction, who dates who, and to try to project certain images, right? Projects and projection. and experiments and experimentation. MK Ultra is called Ram Scrambled, and so on and so forth. We see that they covertly edit my pictures and video images while sabotaging me to reduce appeal. We see that when a woman of worth sees me using, for example, 2 Ethiopian women who are from different cultures as an example of gorgeous women who should have preferred me or should prefer me, when I'm half Nigerian and half white. I'm different than they are. I'm a different race. Nigeria is pretty far from Ethiopia. I'm half white. Okay? When a gorgeous woman who has heart, when a woman, whether she's gorgeous or not, who has worth, sees that happening, she says, why is this society so racist? This multicultural guy who likes women of every race, he's looking for love in every race. Why does he feel the need to use those 2 women as an example? We all feel to some degree that the haters from the various races who, every race, who only want people dating their own race. That's not what Galatians 3:28 says. That's the devil telling them to say that and to think that. Now, sometimes you don't want some rich race preying on your race using money and using the game, so on and so forth. But that's different than biracial Christ. We also see that the massive corporate and governing class groups that are social engineering and urban planning, etc., they do not respect morality, fair play, and heterosexual excellence. That's why so many people look like childish, gay-like people. Look at a circus. Look at a gay parade. Look at Spaceballs and Power Rangers. Look at Tiny Toons. Tell me that Babylon system isn't a system that is about upholding the idea of white supremacy, especially English, if you live in America, trying to confuse you and trying to make it so they seem more manly or more normal or make it seem like they have better mental clarity. Look at how they've cracked down on martial arts in recent years. Martial arts come from Africa. They're more commonly associated, more often associated with Asians. Okay, neither of these groups are white people. The governing class isn't exactly the pinnacle of martial arts. They mostly don't do martial arts, not in any serious way. Okay, they're just arrogant, rich whites, Jews, LGBT people. I'm not racist, just telling you the facts here. So when we look at Galatians, what is it telling us? It's telling us that racists are the enemies of God. It's telling us those who insist on their church traditions are the enemies of God, like Mark 7 is telling us. Mere human rules, customs, and traditions are not supposed to be put first. But that's what they're doing. Those are Satanists. People who tell their own daughter by their actions that they don't want the best for them. They didn't want a bunch of women who would have dated me to have a chance to date the Son of God in his prime, go in a nice restaurant, you name it. They sabotaged me and they kept me from, finding clothes and stuff like this that were my size. They went the distance. More than just I'm tall, they admitted to me they've gone the distance to prevent me from having those things. And there wasn't Amazon and eBay back in the day. They it was easier for them to do it then. It's also pretty easy for them to do it now. It's a story for another day. They kept me from the things I needed. They ripped off my family with CIA operations. They've admitted that as well, to make sure they didn't have lots of money to give me. My dad's a brain surgeon. My mom's a doctor as well. They kept them from giving me the things that I needed as someone who's different to get attractive women's attention in this gold digger society and convince them not to be a gold digger and have these worthwhile dates. They prevented that from occurring. Females are a lot more shallow than you think, especially here in California. Unless, of course, you think better than most people or something. They basically told their daughters they didn't want them to date Jesus. They didn't want them to be led by Jesus. They didn't want them to have a worthwhile life as a result of yoking themselves to Jesus, not devils like them. These people don't care about their kids. They worship Cronus, whose Greek counterpart is Saturn, whose name is very similar to Satan because Saturn devours the essence, the life essence and life worth and life hopes of his offspring. That's what that story symbolizes. When he devours his offspring, why are they still alive when he devours them? If he'd shoot them up to pieces, why are they still whole in his belly? The belly of the beast, Bel, right? Bel, the deity Bel, who Jupiter is his Greek counterpart. Zeus, Jupiter is his Roman counterpart. Zeus is his Greek counterpart. So why? Because it's a symbolic story. It's figurative, just like the Bible. And it refers to him swallowing. It refers to a lot of interesting things at the same time. As long as you interpret it in the boundaries of what's true, and then it's true, right? It refers to First and foremost, I'd say, to him devouring the souls and the life essence, right, of his offspring, right? Satan wants your souls, okay? And the soul and the spirit are very much connected, especially in Greek mythology, where psyche is said to mean soul, mind, and spirit at the same time, where we get the word psychology. And she's put in a trance-like state where she's easily deceived and can't really consent, the word con and consent. Who sent him? The devil. The devil's culture, the devil's spirit, the devil's ways, the devil's path. Okay? And so they then trick Satan using witchcraft. Now keep in mind, these are pagans. Their story has evil morals. They think that you should use witchcraft on everybody, not just the devil. But the devil is like behind witchcraft and tricking them through witchcraft. That's a story for another day. And so he throws up his 6 children. Right? There's Zeus, there's Hera, there's Vesta, there's Hades, there's Poseidon, and so on and so forth. And they're said to escape his belly. Then there's this war between Zeus and people on his side and the Titans and so on and so forth. And the Titan has the word tit. It goes back to the Baphomet's tit. That's a story for another day. Mars is rams scrambled, right? The word Mars is ram scrambled, and Mars is a deity of war. His Greek counterpart, Ares. It's very similar to the Ebo Eri, which is the actual son of God, universally speaking in reality. So they worship Cronus, whose name is a play on words for crow's son, thus the movie The Crow, and it's like that, these occult guys, these goths, these rockers, these type of people who think that way, and some of them have the white paint and so on and so forth on their skin or whatever that is, makeup, whatever that is, okay, because they're representing the moon and the spirit world, lunar cycles, lunacy, lunatic, what have you. So when you look at how this thing comes together, it's sometimes a little bit difficult to kind of explain it because there's so many connections. But Cronus represents the idea of a black sun. And the sun, get the word soul, S-O-L and S-O-U-L. And the soul, the sun, it's in Latin or Spanish or something. I believe it's Spanish. Okay, just like Jesus in Spanish is Jesus, a story for another day. It's black. It's blacked out, just like in the end of the Bible. I've gone over this before in my videos, right? Revelation 6, the sun turns black. And the sun is struck in Revelation, a third of it is struck, and it's there's a bowl poured on the sun, and it's scorching people, and so on and so forth, because it's relative to the idea of what you're missing, which is the sun. We say in Psalm 19, it's the symbol of the bridegroom, the Son of God, the champion, the top martial arts. So it says in Psalm 19, right, the champion. Psalm 18 connects to Psalm 19. God trains the king's hands for battles, right? It gives David mighty victories, the root and offspring of David. Psalm 89, it says God anointed a warrior. Okay, so it refers to this sun spirit. It's the martial arts spirit. Okay, it's the martial arts champion, the ideal bridegroom, the top martial arts, the Son of God, right? And so as the sun turns black, because of the psychology of the devil, who said to swallow his own children, they, in the spirits of the elite of Rome and Greece and Babylon and the world, really, except for, obviously, I'm above them all.